Welcome to OG channel. In this video we are going to be taking you through how to design a small business network. So let's get to start. We are going to name some devices that are common in a small business environment: a PC, a printer, a switch, and then we use a wireless router in case the system need to access the internet. Otherwise, a LAN network don't really need a router. So let's get to start. I will be using the physical mode so that we get used to some of these devices. Let me rename this to, let's say, Kano City. Kano City. Okay, that's the city we are in. Here we are doing configuration. Let me say, let's say this is the OG office in Kano. Let's see here. Let's use it. This corporate office. You can use it. So this is the building. Let's say this is the building, and let's say this is the network room, or maybe there's a network room. Yes. So we have the closet here. So we can have a lot of things arranged inside this closet. Like let's have our rack where we are going to place, maybe it can be a small EU rack, something like that. So that's where we are going to place our switch. Let's use Cisco under this network device. We have sub devices here. We have a switch. So let's pick a Cisco Catalyst 2960 switch. So let's place it. Just click on it and tap on the rack to place it. So this is just a power port, so you can move it up to stay separate. So this is the switch. So we are going to add let's place a table. Let's click here to add a table. Okay, we have a table now. On this table, let's say we have first, let's pick our wireless router. That's home wireless router here. Wireless router, click on wireless router here. Okay, wireless devices, then come to home router. Let's place it here. Then let's have a PC and devices. Let's have a PC, place it here. Okay, so we can, let's try to, let's say, okay, let's have it like that. Let's have a printer too. Is an IP printer, that's network printer, I mean. Let's place it here under this table here. Okay, I think that's great. So let's place this router on this system and have a laptop to join it here, so that way we are not going to be doing all we are not going to be placing all the system. Let's assume we have like 20 computers. So these two devices is enough for us to particularize, so you can now expand based on your own design. Like now we are going to see how we are going to work with it desktop. We are going to see how we are going to work with laptop. So whichever device you are using, I think this will be okay. So now we are not just going to connect the system directly like that. So let's make use of some tools like let's go to connections and make use of this structured cabling, so that we are going to mount a copper patch panel. Let's have a copper patch panel here, so that our connection will be neat. So now, since we have that, then let's do some connection out of this room too. Let's have some connection. But before we go, let's just finish what we are doing here. So what we need to do now is, let's connect some of these devices together. Let's go back to connections. Let's use this copper straight through cable. That's a UTP cable. This normal cable, straight through cable, with the RJ45 port connector. So let's click on this. Once we click on it, let's connect like some ports of this let's say maybe from port 1 to 8. Let's view it. Inspect front. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, let's use the 6 at the top for the devices or the internal devices here. So let's say maybe this fast Ethernet port 1 connects to this port, this RJ45 port. Let me inspect, right click and click on inspect, so that we use fast Ethernet port here to connect this PC to the switch. Then we pick the same cable again, or you can pick the same cable again. Good. So you connect. Let me inspect the front again. Let's connect the second port. The second port here. That's, or let's say on this. Okay, let's use this one so that it will be. So we have used fascinator 2, right? Let's use it to connect the printer. So that's the RJ45 port of this printer. Let's use it to connect to printer. Good. That means we are using fast Ethernet interface 1 and 2. So 0/1, 0/2. So let's pick the same cable, straight through cable. Let's connect this router to the gigabit Ethernet port. Let's use the gigabit Ethernet 1 0/1 here to connect the router. Let's close it. Connect the router, the gigabit Ethernet port 1 of the router 2. Let's use it to connect, so that this router 2 can be accessible by all the devices on this. Mind you, this router here, we did not connect to the internet port. We connect to the switch ports. That's the Ethernet port of the router, so that when you combine switches together, all are on the same broadcast domain. So all these switch ports and this switch port, they are all on the same local area network now. So okay, let's proceed. Now this router, I will not be using cable to connect it, so we use wireless to connect the laptop. So let's click on the router. Let's click on the router. I'm on the laptop rather. Then let's off the laptop first. Then remove the RJ jack, the jack for the RJ45. So after removing it, let's put a wireless card, network interface card there. After putting that, let's put our device on. Good. So let's move to desktop and open. Let's open the web browser so that we can configure the router. So we are not going to do much on the router. So in one of our previous videos, we have discussed on how to configure this home wireless router. So I just want to point some things to us. 192.168.0.1. So admin. To know how to do this configuration, you can check the previous video I mentioned on small office network setup. So you're going to see how to configure. So we are not going to be doing any much configuration on SSID or anything here. That to just point you to today, we have already set the DHCP service on this router to distribute IP address from 100 upward like that. So I will say it should allow only 50 devices. So only 50 wireless devices will be able to connect on this network they will be having the IP address from 100 to 149. So we have already done that. Why am I mentioning this? We are going to discuss on it later. Let me close that. So let me close that for now. So now we see that is starting from 100. So going to this PC now, let's assume this PC, we want it to serve a purpose on the network. So we don't want the IP address to be changing. So instead of us setting the some of these computers or server to be to DHCP too, you can make their own IP address static on the network, so that you don't need to, in case you want to access the device, you don't need to be checking all the time for the IP address. There are all those devices like servers, printer, and the likes on the network. You give them a static IP address so that they won't be changing. So it remains static like that. Then it's using the same range 192, so they are on the same network 192.168.0. let's say 1. So you see that this one is not, in fact we can use 50, but so far it's not up to the IP address we are distributing for the wireless network, so it's okay. So they are excluded address. When you go higher, you understand that. So we have this. So you can set up the default gateway to, in case this net they want to access the internet. So what's the default gateway address? That is the wireless router. The wireless router is the default gateway. So then we have this printer here. Let's click on the printer. Okay, we have the printer here. So, and we have connected. So let's configure this printer. The first Ethernet port that we use, let's give it an IP address of 192.168.0. Let's say 51. That's okay. So then we don't need to actually give the default gateway, so we don't necessarily need to give. So we are not going beyond a single LAN. So now we have done that again. So this, let's see if this printer can actually send a job to this printer. Let's see. Let's ping the IP address of the printer 192.168.0.51. Enter. So we got a reply, which means that PC can actually send a job to the printer. So now let's go to this laptop too and try to ping. So before we go, let's say IP config. So you can see that the IP address of the laptop starts from 100 because it's a wireless device on that network. So good. Let's now see. Okay, let's see if you can now ping any of the other devices that are connected through the Ethernet ports. So let's say ping 192.168.50. So we got a reply from that device. That's great. So now we have done the basic connection. Now what we need to do now is let's see how we can connect other devices out of this room. Okay, so let's proceed. So now let's go to outside of this room. So let's have other devices here. Let's say, for example, I'll put a wall mount maybe in just 2 places. Yes, let's say a copper wall mount. Let's pick one and place it here. Okay, and pick another one. It's going to be having 4 RJ45 ports. So let's pick another one again and place it here. Yeah, I think that's okay. So we can now go now to inside the, let's go to connections and pick the copper straight through cable. You'll pick it like this. Let's use it to now right click here, and inside this closet, what are we accessing, we want to access the rack. On the rack, we want to access the patch panel. So on the patch panel, we are going to be accessing this punch down the back of the patch panel. So we use punch down one. That's where you are going to be clipping in the cable, in the wire, in the copper cable. So when you crimp them into the back of these two. So let's say we have crimped one, then we move it down to the where the one mount is. Then you are going to right click, just click on it rather. Let's say punch down one. So we have connected this the patch panel, the first port of that patch panel we have connected to the first port of this mount. So let's pick this cable again. Let's right click on the rack patch panel. We use the second one now, and to this same device. So let's use the two. So I'll be only using that two like that. So then again, we pick this, click on this, on the rack, the patch panel. Let's use the third port, let's say the 24th port or 23 port. Let's move it down to the other wall mount and connect it there to the first one. Then the same thing to the second one. Click on it, go to the rack and the patch panel, then second one. Let's move down to this side and connect it to the second one. Yeah. So to make this work neat, let's right click and create a bend. Let's move it up. Let's click here and move it up. On the point. So move it up, and then this one too, create a point so that it will be neat. Pick it and drop it here. Good. So let's go down again and create a point here. Create a point, then click on it and move the point up so that it will be as if you are connecting them, you are running them through a drunken pipe. So it's neat. So it's neat that way. So same thing goes to this. Same thing goes to this. Pick it and drag it. Just create it. I'll quickly do that. You can now see that the connection is now very neat now. So which means we can have our devices plugged there. So let's pick, let's say, the PC here in this office. Then I'll put the PC in the second office too, just for practice sake, so not to waste too much time. Let's pick another one and place it here too. So which means then let's go to cable, the straight through copper cable. Click on this and now make use of the jack. We have already connected punch down one, so which means it's transferring to this, giving this one the connection. So we use now jack one and connect it to this. What? Good. Now here to pick the same thing, and we can now connect. Click on this one. We have this one working, then connected to this fast Ethernet port. Good. So these two computers are now connected now. If you like, you can go to these PCs too. So let's give this one to an IP address, or if you like, you can, let's give it 192.168.0. let's say 55. Good. So now we can go further by saying, instead of us, all the computer, we can't be giving them IP address. So we want the IP address, we want them to be receiving the IP address from the wireless router too, like serving as the DHCP server. So some other devices that we are going to the next device that we are going to connect, that now we are going to make sure that it requests for the IP address from the DHCP server, the DHCP server that has been configured on the wireless router. So I think after doing the setting up our topology like this, let's now go back to the closet and finish necessary configurations. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to use this console cable. We are going to click on it. So we have this console cable around, so we are going to use it to connect to the console port of the switch. So some used to be something around maybe a micro port to serial, but these days it's no more serial because most systems don't have serial again. They are now having like USB. So it will be USB on your laptop connected to the console on the switch. So let me inspect the rear side. So we should have the console port here. So plug the console cable into the console port here, then come back to this. Let me say, let's make use of this PC. So the RS232 is where you are going to plug the console on this PC. Let's click it here. Good. So which means you can now be configuring this switch via this PC. So let's click on this PC now. So on your computer, you are going to be using a terminal application like let's say like PuTTY. Like PuTTY, you can use PuTTY. You can use remote any other terminal application. So let's use the terminal. And okay, this is okay. The base percent 9600 8911. So okay, let's proceed. So we have been able to access the switch. Good. Rename. Enable. Good. So we have come to the privilege level from the user level. So let's go to configuration mode. Terminal. So we are at the configuration level. So let's change the name of this switch first to SW. Let's say OG's switch. Okay, that's the name. So you can notice that the name has changed here. So we don't have much thing to do here. What I just mentioned is that we want the devices that will be connected on your network be able to be taking IP address from the router, and you have already set the wireless router that it should just give only 50 devices IP address. So we want to now tell this switch that any device that is connected to you should refer them to this default gateway. So the router will be the default gateway, and it will be serving as the DHCP server as well. So let's say IP default gateway 192.168.0.1. You remember that's the IP address of the wireless router. So after setting that, good. So do show running config so that we see. Okay, good. You can see now the host name has changed. So let's go down. And we can see now the IP default. So we can now, let's just type end. Go back to the privilege mode and just copy running config to start up. config. That means we want to save the settings we have just done. Yes. Are you sure you want to save the that's the switch is confirming that the destination file will be named this? Just press enter. That's okay. That means we have set the switch now. Good. So let's just close this. See, any device that have been connected to the switch via the patch panel now. So another thing is that you can manage the cables connected with that one. If you do many connection, like if you right click on this one, you can manage the cable, so you to patch them very well in the normal. But those ones inside this place like this, they don't need to be managed. But the ones we have already managed outside, like those ones we have put in the trunking way, so it's going to arrange them well too. So now after it has arranged everything, so this last PC has not gotten IP address. Let's check on it. So which one, any device, maybe wireless or wired, that is being connected maybe to the switch, that's through wired, or maybe to the wireless router through the wireless Wi-Fi. So they are going to get the IP address dynamically. So let's go to desktop IP, and then let's switch the settings. Though in real life most computers will come with the that configuration. So let's see now. So let's see, it is computer actually connected to the normal ports. Okay, I think we have omitted something, so we have not connected. Let's go and connect these ports. So let's make sure that we connect all the patch panel ports to the switch. So go back and let's see, let's pick the copper straight through cable and finish the connection. So now here, now on this patch panel, now on this patch panel, let's inspect this patch panel. So let's make sure that the jack ports, the punch down ports that we have connected to the wall mount outside are now connected to the switch. So let's pick the copper straight through cable as the UTP cable. Let's inspect this at the rear, the rear of this patch panel. We see that the punch down 1, 2, and 3 we have used them, so which means their jacks too have to be connected to the switch to receive data and power. So there's, and the 23 too. So here on the switch, let's go back to the front. So which means 1 is already connected to the switch. The 2, let's click on the 2 and connect it to a port on the switch too. Maybe ports, and it's better you take note of the ports you are connecting anyway. So but let me just use any port now. You can actually inspect the switch at the same time too, the front of the switch too, so that it will be easier for you. So let's use ports. Let's say 13. Let's use 13 for this one. Let's pick the cable again and inspect this front and connect the jack 3. So we connect it to the switch 2. Let's inspect the front of the switch 2 and connect it to maybe, let's say, is it 11 or 14? Okay, 14. So I think they are now connected. So the way 1 has been connected already. So with that, let's go back to the PC outside issue. Receive the signal now. So let's go back. It's connected. Okay, it does not say receive the signal. Let's see, wall mount 1 is connected to jack 1. Okay, so person is 0. Okay, so the PC is now receiving the signal. So this green here, so the mount of that punch 2 is up, jack 2 is up too. So let's click on this device now, go to IP config. So this is APIPA, that is the IP address that is self-assigned by the device. Let's click on static as if we are refreshing. and DHCP again. So it's requesting for its IP address from this. So it's successful. So now the laptop has received 100 and this has received 101. So any device that is being connected on the device on the network now will just be receiving theirs. Let's assume we just a new person just come with maybe their own laptop too. Just come to this office now, and then we just connect one of the copper straight through, that is the UTP cable, just connect to the laptop, that is the fast Ethernet port, and come to the mount and use the second jack. So this second jack too, let's be sure that it has been connected to the power jack. So when you are doing this in real life, you must be very careful and see that the jack, you've connected all the jacks that you want to use, that you will not be having headache. So let's check the patch panel. So inspect the array and see what does. Patch 1, 2, 3. We have used the punch down, the 3 punch downs here, then we use 23. So let's inspect the front. We have used 1, 2, 3. So number 23, carrier cable 23. Now let's connect it to, let's inspect the switch too. Inspect the front of the switch and plug it to 16. So I haven't done that. Let's go back and check now. So it's green now, which means it's receiving signal. Let's now check the router, the laptop, the configuration, and let's see the DHCP. It's requesting for IP address. So that it fails. It's normal because of the app message that we're facing. So let's see now. Let's retry it. It should be successful now. Okay, let's go over again. Just your system, you can leave it for some time for the connection to work fine. So it's now successful and it's having 102. So I think that's great. So now let's confirm that the computers can communicate. Let's use this one now to ping 192.168.0.51. So you can ping it. So that's great. All the devices on the network are now communicated. So that's how we have been able to connect our patch panel to the wall mount, connect the switch and configure the switch, the basic configuration. Mind you, we did not really configure the switch where we don't put the security. So but this is okay for basic configuration. So thank you.